Hi cats and kittens, it's Amy from Savor, Salvage, Scent, and I hope you're in a great place. Today I thought I would come to you with a holiday-based diversion. For those of you who follow the channel, you know that I usually focus on all things fragrance. But I thought it would be fun here and there to do some things about other hobbies or interests of mine, creative. And today I thought I would talk about gift wrapping. Those of you who have never been to the channel, it's called Savor, Salvage, Scent. And again, focuses mostly on fragrance, but other DIY and creative projects. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you'll hit the red subscribe button so we can stay in touch. And for those of you who are coming back, thank you so much, and hope to continue the conversation. So, it is the holiday season here, and so I believe Hanukkah just ended yesterday. We are approaching the 12 days of Christmas, which run from the 25th of December through January 5th, I believe, the Epiphany. And Kwanzaa, I believe, runs from December 26th through January 1st. And I think the winter solstice or Yule is on, oh gosh, I hope I'm right, December 21. So we're in the midst here. Well, I think that, of course, the greatest gifts ever are love, happiness, friendship, and especially in these times, good health. I love selecting and wrapping gifts for those I love. A little background, I'll just say humbly, I come from a family of champion gift wrappers. A lot of this, I think what it comes from is, for those of you who don't know, like my experience or story, my mom grew up pretty poor, and but she was a very, very intelligent, she read a lot and just had a lot of creativity. And so when she started to have any means, when she and my father got together and, when they were adults, she knew how to stretch a dime, and she knew how to do a lot with a little when it came to like her clothing, the way she dressed our home, and little things like gift wrapping. Some of that I think came from the fact that my mom worked at Jacques Penney when I was growing up. She was a lingerie salesperson. And when things got really busy around certain holidays, especially the winter holidays, she was really good at gift wrapping, and so they would ask her to work at these times in department stores that had gift wrapping stations, and so she would do the gift wrapping there. So she learned a ton of tricks and tips at that time. I think she'd always been creative, but I think she really got into it from there. And my family, although we're kind of a somewhat diverse set, we mostly celebrate Christmas. I come from a big family. I had 4 brothers and sisters and many uncles, aunts, nieces, nephews, cousins. So typically we celebrated on Christmas Eve. We had a really big, usually a dinner or a gathering, sometimes even a big party. There were often anywhere from, I would say, 12 to 25 people at my house on Christmas Eve in the evening. And during the day, while my mom shopped, partly because she worked for a retail store, while my mom shopped kind of smartly and frugally all through the year for people, especially when, pardon me, things were on sale. My dad, it was like a surgical strike on Christmas Eve. He and my brother sometimes would be like, all right, let's go. They would often take me. We would get up early and we would go to antique stores, junk shops, and big box stores occasionally. And they would bang it out in a day. And so what that meant was usually we'd get home at 3 or 4, people would gather around 6 or 7. And so this one, while my mom and dad were like cleaning the house and cooking, I had to wrap all the remaining gifts. So I got pretty good at it. I remember being 9 or 10 and my mom sitting me down, and just saying, like, I remember just spreading out the wrapping paper and the ribbon. She taught me how to make bows. And I remember her saying, intention basically is everything, and think about this person and put love into the package. And I remember her saying too that like it doesn't cost a lot to you can wrap a beautiful gift for next to nothing. So think about what you're doing and take time and make this beautiful. And so she taught me little tricks about like how to fold paper and how to make bows and things like that. And so by the time I was in my teens, both of my parents were pretty, I mean, my dad was very creative, but my dad was an artist, an industrial artist and teacher. And my mom, while she would not say she was the artist, because I think she thought that was my dad's role, she was really creative in the house, and both of them just influenced me a lot. And so by the time I was 15, 16, I was like buying my own wrapping paper and like really getting into it. And I remember at 16, our family being out for a Chinese meal like a few weeks before Christmas and begging them, would they sell us a box of Chinese takeout containers, because that was what I was going to wrap all my handmade. I was making like leather goods and jewelry at the time, and that's what I was going to wrap all my gifts in. So it began. And so I have to say, I'm just really like always, I love wrapping gifts. I spent a lot of time doing it. I spent years kind of like with different themes and things, and I get a lot of compliments, and it makes me really heartwarmed because it's an extension of my mom, of course, you know. So, because I get a lot of compliments and I've been wrapping gifts over the last few days, I thought it would just be fun to share some of the like techniques and things I do and some of the gifts that I wrapped in case it's fun for somebody else. So let's go. First, I would say, just like my mom taught me, wrap with intention. So you can say that if the gift is of a value, that perhaps the outside should match that. I also think, though, if you're even doing something on a dime or handmade or even free, if you find something really cool to give somebody, you can really elevate the gift by making it lovely on the outside. It's just pleasurable for somebody. And I would say number 2, just learn a few basic techniques. A lot of people know how to do this, but if you don't know how to like make accordion or certain paper folds to make a nice gift, ask someone. A lot of people will know, and just take a little time. Another thing to learn, and you can look this up online, there's a million techniques, but it's pretty easy to make a handmade bow. And so let's see, I'll give you an example. This is a really simple one, but a couple simple ones. Instead of like the big box of bows that get flattened often when they're stored, you can just take ribbon and make a little bow. I did a little doodad with it, but just to give you an idea. And then it doesn't always have to be like a big bow. It can be a really simple, beautiful ribbon with a little garnish or a little decoration. So just to give you an idea. So learning to make a nice bow is really helpful. Third, I think with any creative project, you have to kind of, as my friend Sarah's mom says, I believe this came from her mom, you feed the well. So in other words, I think to really like get good at creative projects, you have to have a fair amount of supplies, and you can build that over time, or you can have a simple theme and just have enough. But like I find, so for me, I look all year for really affordable, cheap, marked down, interesting things that you can wrap things in. So the key, you know, if you're going to wrap beautiful gifts, I think is, especially if you're going to do it affordably, you can spend, I mean, sky's the limit as far as what you can spend to wrap a gift. But if you're going to do it affordably, just look all year. And I'm going to give you some examples of like things that I do or places that I go. So I usually buy gift wrap the day after the holiday on through that next week, or through the year at discount stores. So like I have really good luck at places like TJ Maxx, Target, Marshall's. The week after Christmas, I've paid as little as 50 cents a roll for really beautiful wrapping paper, and ribbon even sometimes, tissue paper, things like that, boxes. But But you can, especially if it's off holiday, you can find awesome things at discount stores. So for me, there's a couple like Big Lots types, but not so odd lot stores near me. And then there's a paper craft store near where I live. And they literally have like rooms and rooms of vintage paper. And some of the stuff is just like pennies. It's so affordable. And often the people that own it tell my best friend and I, you buy the weird stuff. We buy stuff out of season, and like, I'll give you an example. All right, so if you buy out of season and not necessarily for the holiday, you can get really good deals on things. So something that a lot of my gifts, people can tell them the minute they see them, is I bought a ream. So it was a ream, like I can't remember if it's poundage or a certain number of sheets, like 500 or 1,000 sheets of tissue paper from this discount store, and it's pink pinwheels, and it's so cute. It can be used all year, but it does look kind of Christmassy. Let me see. I'm going to find some for you. Oh, there's right here. Okay. So there are gifts everywhere. I have a big family and yeah, all that. So this is the pink pinwheel paper, and I paid $3 for a ream, like I think 10 years ago, and I just finished it, and I bought a new ream for $5. You know how much a little package of tissue paper is. They can be $3, $5. This is literally like a cent a piece. Yeah, it's so affordable. Yeah, so that's one example of something on the cheap. Oh, this is another example. This gorgeous paper was from World Market, and it was like handmade Indian paper. It is beautiful. It is like, I would paper a wall with this. It's really pretty. This was originally, I think, $5 a roll, and I think it was marked down to like 50 cents. It's beautiful. It's got gold. Anyways, just really, really gorgeous. Let me give you a few other examples of kind of interesting finds. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. There's a discount store near me where they just have odd lots, like the first half of the store. And they had these beautiful little, I don't know if you can see them, they're handmade. They're from India, bags, and they're out of old sari fabric. They have little zippers on the top. These were $3 for $1, and the colors are just so beautiful. So I had like a scrap of this really beautiful old paper, same kind of color scheme. Looks like $1 million. $3 for $1, that bag. And these bags I find to be perfect for little things like jewelry, little bottles of perfume, y'all. And in this case, I have 3 little things of nail polish in here with a hand cream on top. We'll get to tags later, but you get an idea. So again, just having this eye to be like, I can do something with that. And I bought them, $3 for $1. I think I bought like 20 of them thinking I'll do something with them. They're so affordable and cool. Another example of a great deal, if you're kind of on the lookout, is Joann's has some pretty great holiday sales. Some of their stuff is marked really high to begin with, but this year for kind of doorbuster sales, like a few weeks before the holiday, they had buy 1 bolt of ribbon, get 3 at the same price free. So the original bolts were kind of expensive. They were anywhere from, I think, like $6 to $12 or $8, maybe $15, but you got 3 free with it, and they were big bolts of fabric of ribbon. And so this is an example of their ribbon. It's beautiful. It's like French ribbon that's got like the wired edge, and I think these had like 75 feet. I mean, a ton of so it ends up being cheaper than the cheap bags of bows. So like you can do really cool stuff with this. All right. So those are examples of feeding the well, build some supplies over time. And then the next tip I have is be open to non-traditional colors and packaging. So again, this sari bag is a good example. Would everybody look at that and think I can use that for a Christmas present? Maybe not. Why can't you? With a little glam, look at that. It's beautiful. Not everything has to be red and green. I favor reds and greens. But again, this is another example. I'm going to put a really beautiful, holiday tag on this. And so then it'll, I think, look more Christmassy. It's got a lot of glam and glitz, so that works. I think it still looks impressive and holiday-like. Let me give you some ideas of other kind of, let's see, non-traditional colors. Here's one. So this is kind of an awkward object shape. So I had to put it in a bag, and frankly, all I had left was this kind of cool yellow colored bag. I love yellows, by the way. So to make it a little more Christmassy, there's the pink pinwheel paper, red and white striped ribbon, a cute little doodad that looks like holly berries, and a really funky tag that I made. So now it looks way more Christmassy. Another example of like non-traditional Christmas colors, but I think really cool. Again, from a discount store near my house. Look at this bag. It's made in India. Has, you know, it does have Christmas trees and deer on it. But just, I don't think most people would look at yellow and be like, what? But I was like, this is so cool. So put some Christmassy kind of wrapping in it. Great bow. Little bell. And now it looks like a Christmas gift. Whoops, with a really cute, sorry, vintage tag. So be open to non-traditional colors and containers. So other non-traditional things I've done, I think I had mentioned that I've used Chinese takeout containers. I have wrapped gifts with old newspaper, especially like if you find old cool vintage newspaper, or any newspaper can be really cool, especially like the funnies. You can do cool stuff with that. You can use old maps. I've used beautiful old maps. A friend of mine once gave me a bunch of donated books of old wallpaper. You can find old wallpaper sometimes at thrift stores for practically nothing. That can be beautiful gift wrap. I have used vintage or thrifted silk scarves and wrapped things in them. And you can literally just tie a bow with the scarf. Really, really beautiful. And be open to reusing things. I mean, I think a lot of this that grew up at my age, I'm almost 50, it would break my heart sometimes on Christmas Eve when I'd see like the pile of wrap that was going into the trash. I reuse stuff, and I reuse other people's wrapping paper, and it's funny, sometimes I'll even gift some of the same paper back to my sisters, and they'll be like, oh, this is cool what you did with this. So I'll try to mix it up with other things. So yeah, be open to kind of non-traditional colors and packaging. And then I would say find unique paper that reflects your style. So for me, a lot of my packages still are in the reds and greens. But I tend to like vintage looking things. So that kind of has a certain style about it. And then I would say just try to find things that you think are uniquely you, like a color scheme, or maybe it's maybe your stuff looks modern, or, you know, who knows, but they can start to take a shape in a sense. And then I'll just say, like, here's an example to me, something that I like to do. I mean, I'm not the only person in the world that likes to do it. Hello. But I am really, really big into mixed prints. So here's an example. Layering two gifts. It's got some like choo-choo paper in the bottom, these polka dots. So I love mixing prints. I just think that's so fun. And then let's see, I'll give you another example. So on the bottom of this package is like a foie bois, I think that's how you say it, paper, and then another print on top. And then even, I don't know if you can see, even the ribbon has a print. So yeah, don't be afraid to mix it up a little, or in my case, that's what I like to do. Next tip is nice ribbons, bows, and gift tags can make a big impact and really be, I think, kind of flashy and fun. So again, like, not judging you. If this ain't your thing, that is fine. There are plenty of things that I'm not, you know, into in my life. But I think creating your own bows or just doing a simple tie around a package with a really beautiful ribbon can really elevate a package. Again, I like to do little kind of embellishments on the packages just to make them kind of fun. And let's see, let me give you another example of that. Hold, please. So this is for a child, and it's in his family. So back to the kind of choo-choo paper with a little bit of berry and a little Santa. Cute ribbon, yeah. So, yeah, so next on the list, oh, tags. All right, so I think tags really can make packages look really fancy and beautiful. I just luck out, like a lot of discount stores, vintage stores, you can find bags of tags for practically nothing. I use a lot of vintage ones, but there were years when I had like no money. Oh my gosh, when I was first, I work in the arts, and when I was first doing it, living on my own, I didn't have much. And so I remember one year I just used construction paper, and I went through old books that I didn't really need or old magazines, and I cut out cool images, pasted them on, wrote the person's name. I've made tags out of beads. I've made, anyways, a lot of handmade tags. You can do them handmade. Or, like in this case, I found really great vintage ones. How cute is that paper, by the way? Oh my gosh. This was really expensive paper originally. I think it was at Paper Source, and it was marked down to like practically nothing a week or two after the holidays. Perfect example, like really nice stuff for cheap. Let's see, let me see if I can find another example of a cool tag. Here's another example of kind of non-traditional. It's an Indian paper bag, which I think is really beautiful. And, berries. I don't know if you can see like a really cute vintage tag. Yeah, so tags and bows can do a lot. And then again, for me, a little bauble can do a lot for something, just doing a little embellishment. For me, sometimes I also like with this one, mixing ribbons. And let's see, sorry, I also have gifts downstairs. In this case, this little, you can see a little decoration. And those, you can find those little like floral picks or decorations at places like Joann's, Michael's, and again, with coupons or after the holiday, dirt cheap. Another tip would be using tissue paper and gift bags for things that are awkward. And so things like that have ends that need to be rolled or are round. I like to use tissue. You basically just like fold like an accordion on the bottom with some tape, but do some tissue and a little bit of ribbon. Things that are awkward, again, like this ginormous thing went into a bag then with really cool ribbon and embellishments. Let's see. And I would say also, in addition to using tissue and gift bags, it's great to find like really sturdy boxes that are decorative for fragile things. So one of the things that I'm giving this year are really beautiful Christmas ornaments. So I found these again at I found them at a discount store, out of season. These were 3 for $1. These super cute containers, and they're perfect for a fragile ornament. So that ornament just goes in here in some tissue, and then it's perfectly protected. I just add a really cute bow and a tag. Let's see, do I have another example of that? I might, but it might be out of my reach. So, lastly, are 2 things. One, I would just say, give yourself plenty of time. I usually kind of gather stuff over a day, get my space. In this case, it's my office, but for years it was just, the kitchen table or whatever. Kind of get things ready, and then I usually afford myself a night or 2 to wrap the gifts. I tend to either put some great music on, like put a great few albums on, or watch a movie and just make it really fun. Sometimes have a cocktail. And, last but not least, as my mother said, just put a lot of love into it. Like, I really believe, it might sound corny, but the intention that you have for people comes out in the gift, in the packaging. So hopefully this is fun for you all. It was fun for me to do. I hope that you all in these crazy times get the best gifts of all of good health and happiness. And I hope you get everything you want this year. Love you. Bye.